Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. We're coming at you again one more time, hoping you're having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving it. What are you doing here tonight, Danielle? Greetings. Thanks for joining us.
Shalom, shalom. Thank you for having me.
We're going to be going over a couple more definitions from Investopedia, folks. A couple more terms to help you relate to how the enumeration at birth operates as it relates to prepaid expenses and things that we've been discussing lately as far as prepaid taxes, prepaid insurances, leases, mortgages, and things like that, and how you've been duped. So we're going to get into it tonight with bifurcation. Let me get my screen set up here. If I can find it. There we are. Bifurcation. As we see, Investopedia, again, one of my favorite things when we're talking about financial terms, whether it relates to contracts or trust. We're dealing with certain specific terms that we need to become familiar with so we can determine how to negotiate all of these instruments that are put before us. And so I want to tell you about our next video coming at 10 o'clock. I'm hoping we can get through bifurcation and hypothecation within the hour, take a short break, and then come back at 10 o'clock to talk about some more things as it relates to cash, money, legal tender, and such. So let's get on with bifurcation. What is bifurcation? Bifurcation is the splitting of a larger whole or main body into two smaller and separate units. Again, I've told you many times, it's not the United States, it's United States. Every house has a numerical unit on it, and it's owned by the Postal Service as a bonding number for the street name security created by the local municipality. That is a unit, a dwelling unit, a housing unit, a multifamily housing unit. Bifurcation is a splitting of a larger whole or main body. This is the legal title. It's the creation of a legal title to split the entire estate that comes into being as a springing trust from when mom goes to the hospital and gives birth, bears labor of giving birth to her young, bearing her young. And that bifurcation is the creation of a record as a legal establishment for a trust, which is the establishment of the burial trust. This is the springing trust that evolves from the bearing of one's labor in a military hospital, is a burial trust. It is the creation of a legal estate that splits the estate and gives the state an ownership interest in the legal title for income tax purposes and insurance purposes. Bifurcation can occur when one company divides into two separate divisions. This is the United States, a corporation conferring a nationality of a United States citizen, therefore dividing it into and creating another separate unit from the whole main body that already existed. So every time there's a birth in one of the states, it's creating, like I said before, a state's vital statistics jurisdiction exclusive to that individual that was birthed. And that is then combined or pooled with the whole body. That you're a broker able to broker shares of stocks. Companies may seek bifurcation for certain tax advantages. This is their whole scheme, is their investment schemes in your estate that are used as a principal in usufruct. They get to use it to make money, and you can only recall it if you know how to do so. And again, that's that statement of live birth is the original asset that is not matched up with a financial statement of intent. It's meant for your use as the beneficiary, and all you have to do is claim it along with that birth certificate and make your financial statement of intent as the creditor you're supposed to be, in my opinion, of course. This is not legal advice. Although it has applications across several fields of study in wherein they practice what they study to see if it concurs with reality. Bifurcation in the financial world usually describes either the breaking of a larger entity into smaller divisions. If a company decides to bifurcate and break into two separate companies, shareholders in the initial company are given shares of the new company through a corporate reorganization. Okay? So it's the parent corporation, the United States, that is given shares of the new company through a corporate reorganization. That's the addition of a state's vital statistics jurisdiction when you're born. It creates a reorganization. A company might break off a division because the division has its own revenue stream or a business plan that's different from the main company. Again, that conference of a nationality of a United States citizen as an investment firm for their organization. You're investing in nothing but a fiction that has zero intrinsic value. The only value it has is the extrinsic value that you put in it. If you don't know what that value is, I suggest you quit doing it. Companies also bifurcate because they can raise more capital. Do you suppose they can raise more capital off of somebody that actually has a valid estate with value in it, with assets that are backing it? Or do you suppose it's better to raise or easier or more efficient to try to raise capital as a bankrupt organization? See, the ability to raise capital in bankruptcy is an impossibility. You have to settle your bankrupt status first, and then you can prove that you have assets above and beyond the bankruptcy. If you can't, then you have to reacquire some assets before you can then go forth and raise capital based on those assets. For example, a food company that sells many products might bifurcate the product lines into two companies so that the new company can obtain its own financing through the issue of equity shares. Now we're talking about equity shares. The new company can obtain its own financing through the issue of equity shares. Say the new company is going to specialize in a new product line. Perfect reason to do something like that. You've got a new entity created and you want to merge it with the company that's going to finance it, then that's the conference of a nationality. Finance the legal estate for you while you're living in a probate probate status. That's again an impossibility. If you're living, then the only reason they would be able to administrate your estate is if you were a minor. Once you become an adult, it should be clear and concise that you should collapse that trust if you can obtain if you're capable of managing your own affairs. But nobody ever teaches you can manage your own affairs upon the age of 18. They send you off into the world telling you have to get a Social Security card, which is voluntary, that you have to have a job, which is voluntary, that you have to pay taxes, which is voluntary, that you have to have a public education, which is voluntary. I urge you people to wake up and learn what your true talents are, is that you can bring greater truths and ascend above all of this fiction and create your own value intrinsically. Potential benefits. Shareholders could also benefit from the breakup since the new shares might rise at a faster rate than the shares of a combined entity, particularly if one has a valid estate asset back as opposed, again, a bankrupt corporation that can't. It's the only reason that we're in a usufruct system, so that they can create value on a probated estate for their benefit because you don't. As a result, bifurcation of publicly traded companies often involves the opportunity for shareholders to make money on stock price appreciation. However, a company might also break off part of the company because it's unprofitable. So if you're being considered as a investment firm and you're a broker of that investment firm, but you're bankrupt, would that prevent them from using you as an investment? Think about how simple this stuff is, folks. A company might break up or bifurcate with the goal of selling one of the entities and using the funds to reinvest in the surviving company. And the reason I mention that bankruptcy thing is because to date, I have a PayPal account, which is a holding company. And to date, they have not sent me a 1099-K saying they received any payments above and beyond the $600 minimum that is now instituted with the new IRS regulations. So if they admit that they have not received any payments because they have acquiesced and failed to send a 1099-K for me to report as payments, then they have no record of payments. So if there's no payments and everything is donation, what are my assets? Are my assets equal to being bankrupt? So if I'm bankrupt, can they consider me as an investor while being bankrupt? It proves an impossibility in commercial law, folks. That's simple. The term bifurcation, keep going on with all of your materialistic wealth and find out how well it does you. They will continuously try to steal it from you. It's not about ownership and use or ownership and title. It's about use and possession. The term bifurcation has other applications in law: hydrology, fluid dynamics, mathematics, economics, chemistry, anatomy, and physiology. In each application, bifurcation refers to the splitting in two of certain element or system, such as the splitting of a single hydrogen atom participates into two hydrogen bonds, such as the splitting of the United States jurisdiction as it is each and every day, each and every second. And then as soon as a new birth is registered, it creates another certain element that attaches to it by the splitting thereof. And this is the bifurcation of the estate. It's the placement of the estate into an economic forum for commercial use in a usufruct system. Market bifurcation happens when disjointed market movements, such as growth and value investments, move in different directions. So we want the US dollar to go up, and it may say that everybody's investing more, but at the same time, through the bifurcation and usufruct hypothecation and stuff that we're going to be talking about here shortly, it's all going as a debt against the United States. Instead of bringing that bankrupt corporation out of debt, out of bankruptcy, it's placing it further and further into bankruptcy. Okay. Or when high quality and low quality securities move out of sync, causing one to perform much better than the other. So we have a situation where people are believing and having faith in the Federal Reserve and how it runs its system. And so it's having more faith in the US dollar. Okay. And you're not even organized under the laws of the United States, and you have no communication with the Federal Reserve. So you're giving all credit to the Federal Reserve and have done nothing for it. Great job. Key takeaways. Bifurcation is the splitting of a larger whole or main body into two smaller and separate units. Bifurcation can occur when one company divides into two. Mom and dad created one company and it created another company in the birth. Mom and dad are both considered residents of the state for income tax purposes, and United States citizens as being conferred a nationality of United States citizen as an agent or officer of the federal, state, or municipal corporation. However, it was not deemed necessary by the board. It's all voluntary. Creating 2 new companies that can each sell shares to stockholders. So they get a marriage license before that, showing that when they give birth, they will sell that share. And that's exactly what they do at the hospital. They do so without a financial statement of intent, and therefore do not get their share in the cut. A company might bifurcate because one of the companies has a business strategy that's different from the main company. So when you learn that you have a different strategy for your estate than that of the United States, then you will split from them and bifurcate the estate or the commercial legal entity from the estate and kick it out. Or as I've explained before, actually salvage it and then merge it into a new name. All biblical. A real world example of bifurcation in early 2019, the clothing retailer Gap announced it would break up and bifurcate the Old Navy brand from the Gap stores as reported by CNN. Now, Old Navy would be a standalone company, while the original Gap stores, along with Banana Republic, Athleta, Hill City, will be one company, which they're calling the new company, since the name is not or has yet to be chosen. Old Navy generated $8 billion in sales by itself. So the bifurcation shows that it was able to create a better profit by the bifurcation, because now Old Navy generated $8 billion by itself, whereas the rest of the stores combined generated $9 billion. So you had 3 companies combined with Gap as one company that was actually 3 companies. When they split off Old Navy, which was the 4th company, it now became a standalone and pulled in almost half of the actual income. Senior executives noted that the bifurcation would allow or free up Old Navy to expand and grow with separate business strategy, thereby laying intact the Gap strategies that already worked and open up one company for an attempt at standalone improvements, and it proved successful. The new company, which includes the Gap, can pursue a different business strategy and possibly consolidate the remaining companies into one retailer. Time will tell if the bifurcation of Gap Inc. and Old Navy will make financial sense, but the companies have had divergent financial performances in recent years as the Gap brand has struggled while Old Navy has continued to grow, saying that maybe they should take upon the new business strategies that they implemented in Old Navy. So, what do you think on that, Danielle? What do you know about bifurcation? What does that make sense? Do you understand it?
That I actually knew. I've read different reports of other companies that have done that. And I actually
McDonald's
remember reading about Gap.
Yeah, McDonald's is one of them that have done through time. Instead of doing like a franchise, they offered to train a guy in the business, knowing that he would leave and create his own hamburger stand. This is the same principle Paul uses with his StreamYard panel. He wants you to learn how to run your own content and be a creator of your own stream, and use his platform as an example to go ahead and do so. So at the time that he's doing his stream, he's teaching you how to handle people and things that he knows according to his life. So it's a matter of whether you want to use that as your springboard and do the same type of thing. So a guy that wants to run a donut shop doesn't go to McDonald's to learn how to do that. This is the same principle. This is the same principle why mom and dad shouldn't be going to the United States. They should be seeking counsel in their Father in heaven. This is the whole scheme behind it. Like I said before, is prepaid taxes and prepaid insurances. And you'll find out later when we come back and talk about cash, that's going to be one of the things we're going to cover. So in the meantime, I want to take a real quick minute to thank everybody for joining me. Unslaved Truth, Aaron, Christos Daleopoulos, excuse me, Kara, Travis, Randolph, James L., EBT, greetings. The panel link is down there for anybody who wants to join the panel. It's open panel, so feel free. And then we're going to get on to the next one. I'll get it figured out sooner or later, but can anybody tell me how long it's been? Let me see here.
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes, so we pretty much missed most of hypothecation. Okay, tell you what, guys, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and redo another video tomorrow night on hypothecation to start from the beginning and go all through it again. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and shut down for now, take a break, and I'll be back at 10 o'clock, 7 minutes from now, and we're going to start going over cash, legal tender, things like that. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Again, my apologies. I will edit it when I get a chance and repost it. In the meantime, I guess people will just have to suffer with a 10-minute break, wondering what's happening, or they'll just fast forward. So in the meantime, remember, folks, I do love you. I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. I'm not perfect. I'm just you. And we'll see you again here in a few minutes. Bye now.